Good morning, everybody, and welcome into Denver Sports Coffee Break presented by Bath Fitter. Presented by Superbook Sports. We got D-Mac, Rachel V. Hill hanging out with you guys today. And in fact, we have a special guest joining us at the top of the hour. I'm going to give everybody a hint from the Denver Broncos. Leave your guesses in the comments, but good morning. How are you?
It's great to see you, Rachel. I look at this set. It feels like we're in some sort of ski lodge sometime.
Sometimes.
We're hanging our gear up. So there's a very, as I'm noticing, very Colorado-y sort of feel here.
Setup, no, for sure. I was actually thinking, you know how in Good Morning Football they call it the breakfast table?
Yeah.
I was like, this is the coffee bar.
Yeah, I love it.
We're hanging out at the coffee bar on this Tuesday, and of course, a huge game tonight. The Western Conference Finals begin. I was watching all of the national shows this morning about, like, who's more pressure on? Is it on Jokic? Is it on LeBron, Nuggets, the Lakers? And everyone's saying the Lakers, but that also doesn't come as a shock to us here in Denver.
That's a good question. The more pressure.
Yep.
The expectations for the Nuggets the whole year was to win the NBA championship and compete for it.
Yep.
I guess if you've got LeBron James and Anthony Davis, that's your expectation as well. But they're not the number one seed.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rachel, this season began with the Lakers being like the worst shooting team I think I'd ever seen in the NBA.
Yeah.
I mean, they were dreadful. For them to make the playoffs at all seemed like somewhat of a miracle. And of course, they had to move on from Russell Westbrook to make that happen. Now, they've gone on a heck of a run.
Mm-hmm.
So I think their value and quality is much higher than the number 8 seed that they had going in. So it's not really about who you were, it's about who you are right now. But the Nuggets are still the number one prohibitive favorites. Still.
Yep.
So that hasn't changed. So I think the Nuggets, I don't think it's pressure. I think it's expectations. And I think the expectations for the Nuggets have been higher than the Lakers. But that being said, being around Michael Malone and Jokic and AG yesterday, this is not some sort of, oh my God, moment for them.
Yeah.
It's not. They expected to be here. They're talking about being here. They're talking about their expectations. And they know they're not done. There's been no celebration after any of the series wins.
As there shouldn't be, though. You have one goal, and that's to win a Larry O'Brien trophy. There should be no other celebrations. It should be the one thing, and I feel like when you've continuously worked up to it, it was the same thing for the Avalanche last year, right?
Yeah.
It was like the expectations were there year after year after year, but if you never do it, you shouldn't celebrate until you actually do it. Why are we celebrating being like, oh, yay, like, good, pat on the back, I'm happy for you, I'm happy we're advancing, we did our job, let's go out there and do it again.
Yeah, that's just not the case with the Nuggets whatsoever. That's not how they feel. That's not what they've been talking about. That's not who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So because of that, Rachel, when I was around the team yesterday, it was very relaxed. It wasn't uptight. They were having a fun shooting game that they end some practices with, and it was just kind of the same Nuggets team, Rachel, I've seen the entire year.
Yeah.
They got a nice break before that Minnesota series, and they were able to take a couple of days off and then loosely get into things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is kind of the same. The break wasn't, quite as long.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it was a break enough. It was a break enough that they had a couple of days just, completely off.
Mm-hmm.
And enough time for Jokic to get a haircut and a shave, as he's wont to do before playoff series.
Yep.
So, I don't know. The only teeny tiny thing, as I'm getting over my cold, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's taken, like 10 days. Jamal Murray, I think, had the same thing I did, to be honest with you. I think he just had a basic, run-of-the-mill cold that just wears you down a little bit. You don't feel so great, but you can still get out and about and do certain things. And I think Jamal's been going through that. So he was at practice for the most part, but then left, he wasn't there for the fun and games at the end. He just, that was enough, and he bowed out. We know he barely made it to Game 6, and we know he's questionable tonight, but he'll play. He'll play. That's just a designation that they have to put on. That's it. And it didn't slow him down in Games 5 and 6. I don't know why it would slow him down today, but I'm just bringing it up because it's just, a little thing, a really little thing.
No, it is, and I'm actually really glad you brought it up. I mean, Jake obviously said the flu arrow, which we love, on his rant that we saw on Friday. Yeah,
The flu arrow.
The flu arrow.
That's right.
It's sticking around, and My boyfriend's been sick too. I feel
that
like
right?
it's becoming this, it's another thing, right? We all go through phases where there's like colds or whatever, but it can impact your game too. And the question is, do they need a fully healthy team? And a cold's different than an injury. I totally get that. But it can still affect how your lungs work if you're having a hard time breathing. Anything of that nature can affect something. And in a Western Conference final game, you don't want any of it. So,
Well, hopefully they went through it. Hopefully, Michael Malone definitely had something too.
yeah, I know his poor voice.
Oh my God, he's been ravaged by it. So, but he, he's fine.
But how much of a wiggle room do they have against the Lakers?
The Lakers, interesting, and Jake brought it up. They've been very good in the first game of these playoff series. Wiggle room. I think tonight will tell you a lot. I think tonight will be close. I do. And I think the Nuggets will win. I'll take them by, I don't know, 7, 8 points, something like that. But I think it's going to be pretty close the entire game. I'll be surprised, very, very surprised, if it leans towards one team heavily one way or the other.
Okay.
I think it'll be a tight, sort of hard-nosed, defensive sort of game. Unless the Nuggets get some participation and contribution from, say, KCP from the outside. I mean, if he's going to... And the game could be a blowout if KCP gets 4 3-pointers in the first quarter. But I'm not really expecting that. I'm expecting a tight, hopefully balanced game. I think the Lakers aren't really in the, we're going to blow you out sort of mode, although they do have a lot of good scorers, and they can get hot just like any other team. But again, like the Suns, they primarily work through LeBron and Anthony Davis, and then we'll see who else can contribute. Whereas with the Nuggets, yes, everything circles around Jokic, but a balanced Jamal Murray is a better Jamal Murray. And he doesn't need to do too much in terms of scoring. You need to just get the ball to the open guy and trust him.
I actually love that. A balanced Jamal Murray is a better Jamal Murray. Everyone wants him to be this big shooter who's going to put up 50 or whatever it is. No, I actually really like that. I think the Nuggets are a better team when he is more balanced, and I think that's actually going to be the key for them in the Western Conference
Well, what do
Finals.
you think? How do you think it's going to go tonight?
I'm expecting a close game as well. We know that the Lakers give their biggest punch in game one for sure. So we're going to see the best Lakers team on the road tonight in game one. It's going to be a close game. Now, can Jamal get going? Because they don't have anybody that can guard Jamal Murray. What will Jokic's numbers look like? That's the other thing. And then I think Aaron Gordon also plays a really big key piece in this. So it's going to be a challenge. I don't want to sit here and be like the biggest challenge they had was the Suns. I think we're still going to get a really big challenge tonight. But I feel more confident than I did coming in against the Suns.
One thing that's interesting about LeBron, similar to Jokic, he is quick to try to get other guys involved. He's not like I got to own the ball and take it over.
Very much like Jokic.
Yeah, he's got a lot of similarities in that, which is different than Booker and Kevin Durant, who really don't look for other guys. So I think the Lakers are actually better prepared in terms of their support players to expect the ball and have an opportunity to score the ball. That is different than the Suns. Every time a guy from the Suns touched the ball, if it wasn't Booker or Durant, they seemed surprised that the ball was in their hands.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a different way that it lays out. And we'll see with D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves, who's been a big player for them as of late. But it's nothing that the Nuggets haven't seen. Jokic was asked about, does he have any kind of different strategy? And whether he would lay that out or not, I don't know. I think Jokic has a way of playing Anthony Davis, like he has a way of playing Rudy Gobert or all sorts of other big guys that he goes against. And I think he'll just sort of take that. Whoever's on Jokic, and I don't even know if Anthony Davis will be on Jokic. We'll see what they do defensively.
Yeah, I'm actually very interested to see how the lineups are going to mix and match depending on who's out there too. And of course, then we got the Karela Bucks crew, and will Malone just stick with them? I'm expecting him to. I don't think he's going to change anything up. I think Malone is very much, we're playing our game and others need to change their game to fit.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if it's different than Brown, Green, and Brown. So, and that's fine. I mean, it's game one. Let's see how things play out. I'm not sure what the better matchups would be yet, so why not stick with whatever's working for you? So I would expect that's the same too.
I don't remember which game it was, but it was following a press conference, and Jokic had a quote-unquote slow start for Jokic. And I remember him saying something along the lines of, I was trying too hard, or I was trying to control the game too much, something along those lines. And he said, I just stopped and I let the game come to me, and things started to work out. And so that kind of goes back to your comment that you said about how Jokic is just going to play his game. You know, he doesn't let anything around him affect him. He just knows he's a good enough basketball player. And I think that's kind of the key too for Jokic is he's not going to try and force anything out there. He's just going to let it come to him.
Yeah, and, you know, I made the mistake of asking Jokic sort of that question. So I asked him, and every time you get a my friend, if you get a my friend, you know you've asked something stupid and he's trying to be nice to you. So, and then there's the assumed my friend. It's the pause and he kind of looks down at you. So that's the, you know he's saying my friend.
Yeah.
So the question it was, because the Nuggets have so many different ways to go about and beat you, like, how do you know when it is your night? Like, do you know that? Can you feel that, well, no, tonight is the night that I've got to take 30 shots. It's not the night for me to distribute. And he was like, my friend, how do you think I would know that? You know, so, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
And that is sort of the improv comedy way, meaning we have an idea of what we're doing, but we're not sure how it's going to go. I actually think there's an answer to that question, but that's okay.
What's the answer then?
I think there's a moment where he does feel like it is on me tonight. Like, now why that exists, I'm not sure, and I'm not so sure he'd want to give it away. I think it's how they play him defensively and who he's going against, maybe just how he's feeling about things too.
You've been to, did you miss any Nuggets home games this year?
I missed one in 2 years. I missed the Giannis.
Insane.
The Giannis game on a Saturday this year. That's one, including preseason, in 2 years.
That's absolutely insane.
Yes.
Applaud to you. But so, is there ever a moment that you're watching Jokic when he goes for, you know, a crazy stat line that you're like, oh, he knows that it's time for me to take over?
Well, that's why I asked the question. Yeah, I do think there is that.
But have you noticed? Has there been a moment where you've been watching and you're like, Jokic is about to take over this game because something changed?
If he goes for 12 points in the first quarter, it feels like, okay, this is a Jokic night. Now, that could just be on 6 shots. That could simply be 6 of 6.
Yeah.
But when he's on a roll like that, because his first instinct in the first quarter always is to distribute and get other guys involved, that's why I think the first quarter should belong to Michael Porter Jr. I always think they should try Michael Porter Jr. a little bit or go to him in the first 5 minutes of every single game.
Yep.
Because if MPJ can get going and find a rhythm, man, is that dangerous the rest of the way. Not that MPJ hasn't made big shots in the fourth quarter or later. He has, but as we've seen in the fourth quarter, it becomes so much more of a two-man game between Jamal Murray and Jokic. So, but, you know, I've seen Jokic take like 3 shots in the first half and end with 30 points.
Yeah.
So you just can never, you know, and if you see Jokic, if he gets 5 points in the first quarter, we might have 7 rebounds and 4 assists, and then you look around and they're up by 8 points, and, you know, Jokic has, you know, like 5 points. And so what?
Yeah.
So it's amazing how flexible he can be. You really can't tell kind of ever. So maybe it was a dumb question. Maybe he really seriously doesn't know. And it's just how the game presents itself moment to moment to moment.
Let's go to MPJ now.
Okay.
Because I'm saying everyone's going to be a key to this game. What are you expecting out of MPJ? Is he finally going to have that big game where he just absolutely blows up and goes for 30? Like, you know, I feel like that's something we don't see out of MPJ.
I think he could, but I don't think they need him to do that. I think Jamal could go for 35 to 40 any game, but they don't need him to do that. What they need is somebody, but who that somebody is sort of depends on the night and sort of depends on the game.
Yeah.
That's what's so beautiful about the Nuggets, Rachel. They aren't, aside from Jokic, I don't know how they win without Jokic, but aside from Jokic, it could be anybody, any night. But that doesn't mean Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray can disappear. They can't. They've got to carry their own weight too at some point in the series. And somebody has to be there for Jokic too. And usually it is. If it's not one guy, it's another. And KCP was that guy, or Bruce Brown, coming off the bench has been there.
Yeah.
I mean, Bruce Brown had 22 points in a playoff game off the bench. So, I mean, the beauty of the Nuggets is they really have 6 starters.
Yeah.
Really do. They have 6 quality starters, and then they have depth behind those starters.
Yep.
And they do well enough during the playoffs to stem the tide without Jokic. And as we've noticed in the playoffs, timeouts are a little bit longer, breaks are a little bit longer. Just everything gives you more rest for your stars. So there's less and less reason to bring out the backups. Yeah.
First of all, this comment made me laugh. It says, "Where is your commitment, D-Mac, to missing the one game?" My goodness.
I know.
What a slacker
I know,
you
and
are.
I know exactly where I was. And I looked to get back on time, but we were traveling to see my son who had a baseball game that day in Northern California. But yes, I do. I felt bad about it. I did feel bad about it.
Oh my gosh, never feel bad. Also, I love everybody saying that they need a popcorn cam on me tonight. I will keep you updated on the popcorn.
How are you? Are you feeling nervous about it? So Rachel really only goes into the popcorn. I mean, you don't get the popcorn every
Unless
game.
I'm nervous.
No, it's only when you're kind of,
I like need something to do with my hands.
Right.
So I don't start like Sean-splaining things where I'm like, oh, what's happening here? What's going on? No, I nervously eat. And so the popcorn, plus it's delicious popcorn. If you're going to the game at Ball Arena tonight, get the popcorn. It's fantastic. But so I get the popcorn when I'm like, okay, I need something to do and something to keep my mind off of what's going on. So I don't know if I'm going to spend $9 on popcorn tonight. It's a great question. I'm feeling rather confident, and I feel like sometimes when I feel confident, that's not a good thing. I feel like it comes back and bites me in the butt. So
sometimes your popcorn doesn't happen. You don't pregame popcorn.
No.
Popcorn is a in-game purchase.
Yes.
Or
usually after halftime.
Yes.
And then I usually finish it in the third quarter because I can just devour it.
Although there are free snacks
Yeah.
and free beverages offered.
You know what? I wonder if we're going to get free popcorn today. Listen, for the Avalanche, for the Stanley Cup run, the snacks just got better and better and better. This is the Western Conference Finals, everybody.
So we should have some free popcorn.
I hope so. Or Starburst. Those were good, too.
Now, I'll tell you, during the COVID sort of recovery time, there was no open sort of cafeteria.
No.
It was all box stuff.
And they had popcorn.
They had popcorn. It really was. The food was actually great.
Yeah.
You had a big choice of it, and they had popcorn.
I know.
And that actually has.
And that's honestly probably how I got started on the popcorn.
That was it, huh?
Because never before would I have paid $9 for some popcorn. And
Now-
here I am. And I
now-
devour it. Usually, people know too, last time for game 5, right? Game 5, that was the last time?
Yeah.
They're all starting to mix together. It was game 5. I saw so many people on my way up from getting popcorn. They were like, "Are you nervous? I know this is the good luck popcorn. Are you eating popcorn?" And then I had like a couple people that were like, "Can I just steal a few things of popcorn?" I'm like, "Absolutely. We can pass it around to everybody." So anyways, I hope I don't need popcorn tonight. Hopefully it's just an easy victory for the Nuggets. LeBron, though, the media scrum around him yesterday. The Lakers are in town, 100%. Holy smokes, D-Mac, you were down there. What was it like? Because there are so many media members.
It was crazy. First of all, if I looked like LeBron, I might not own a shirt. But he was practicing without one, and
we need to look.
I mean, there's plenty of pictures out there.
Well, how old is
yesterday.
LeBron? 38?
38. No,
only.
he's in phenomenal shape.
Great shape.
And might have been a little peacock mode going on there because all the media was invited in and gathered around, and he was practicing close to where all the media was without his shirt on and all that sort of stuff.
Ew.
So there might have been a little, look at me sort of moment there. But then again, I mean, look at him. He looks unbelievable.
Yeah.
But that doesn't actually matter. Like, these guys in the NBA are all in, ridiculous shape. So you just kind of start with, like, they'd all look good at the pool, all of them. And then you go into other things. And just because you're ripped and got muscles and all that doesn't mean your endurance isn't impacted running up and down the court. That's where the altitude sort of plays into things. And 38 is 38, okay? 38 is 38. And Christian Brown is, 22 or whatever he is. And yeah, for 8 minutes or so, Christian Brown may be LeBron's worst nightmare because he's just going to be, and that's probably what they would do.
Yeah.
Is they would send him out there, attack, LeBron. It's okay if you pick up a couple fouls, get in his face, make it a tough cover. And then that's great. That's 8 minutes well spent that, AG wouldn't have to, Aaron Gordon wouldn't have to necessarily cover him. The bulk of it will likely fall to AG and KCP on LeBron. And then we'll see with Anthony Davis. I would suspect it's mostly Jokic.
Yeah.
I would guess. But, you have some other options of how you want to handle that too. So we'll see. And, that could be Jeff Green. Jeff Green could just get up on AD and just be a pest. Jeff Green has had miserable offensive numbers. I mean, terrible. But that's really not why he's out there. He's out there to be a bothersome defensive presence and give Jokic a little bit of relief. So I think this series actually sets up great for Jeff Green. I think Jeff Green on AD is fantastic. I think covering Durant for Jeff Green is kind of a nightmare. So I love the matchup. I know they split the series 2-2 in the regular season, but Rachel, that means absolutely positively
it's a long season.
Yeah, I mean, so much changes. It doesn't even matter. So I actually love the matchup. I love it. I picked Nuggets in 7 against the Suns. I'm going Nuggets in 5 against the Lakers, and I think it's a tremendous matchup for them. I think it favors them greatly.
One of the losses actually for the Nuggets came at the beginning of the season. So the Lakers started 2-10 essentially on the season, and everyone was joking around of, oh, they got all these celebrities, nothing's gonna happen, like these superstars. Well, they get one of the wins, and they're two wins at the beginning of the season against the Nuggets. And like you said, it really doesn't matter, but at the exact same time, both teams are now in the Western Conference Finals. Like, look at the journeys that they've all had.
Yeah, it's been, plenty of respect for the Lakers.
100%.
And this is the 5th time the Nuggets have been to the Western Conference Final, and it'll be the 4th time that they're playing the Lakers. So the Lakers have certainly gotten over on the Nuggets.
I saw somebody in the comments who was like, this is like Goliath. This series feels like the AFC Championship game, January 1st, 1978, time to slay Goliath.
Feels like 1978. I'm glad
a little different. We all have cell phones.
Appreciate you watching. We're going back to 1978.
But it does feel like Goliath. I agree.
1978 was the first year the Broncos made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So that was the Orange Crush days. That was that particular year. I don't know if I'm going to go back to 1978 to make a comparison, but they just have never done it. They have never the Nuggets have never made it to the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Ever, which is crazy considering how long they've been around and how many great players they have actually had. So nothing new. You got to get past the Lakers at some point.
Yeah.
And hopefully this is the year. It should be the year. So if you go back to pressure, the pressure should be on the Nuggets, not the Lakers. The Lakers, listen, man, the Lakers.
But LeBron always gets the pressure because he's, some people, it's always the conversation between who's the GOAT, LeBron or MJ. There's always going to be pressure when you're supposed to be the greatest player of all time.
Well, LeBron is on a different level. LeBron is about legacy.
Yeah.
And he already is in the conversation of maybe top 5 of all time. He's the leading scorer in the NBA. He's won championships with 3 different teams. His legacy, everything he's doing is legacy, legacy, legacy.
Yeah.
So my respect for LeBron James is through the roof. Because how does a guy with literally everything keep going? How does his motor run that hot? And it is impressive, beyond impressive to actually watch. This may be, if he were to lead his team past the Nuggets and win a championship, and likely we'll see, but it very well could be against the Celtics. So that Lakers-Celtics thing, if you want to take another gargantuan leap to immortality, I guess that is right in front of itself with LeBron. But that's an individual thing. That's not a team thing. That's an individual thing for LeBron. Does LeBron feel pressure? I don't know, man. I think pressure is just the wrong word.
Yeah.
Pressure implies that there'd be something negative going on. I think it's opportunity that LeBron wants to seize. I think there's a competitive nature in the best of all time that just drives those type of competitors further than even other elite athletes. It's a rare gear. I think LeBron has it, but you got to have an entire team to do it. And the Nuggets just do have, right now, a better overall team. Plus, they have the best basketball player on earth with Jokic.
So that's my other question. Who has more pressure, Jokic or LeBron? Just
You know,
individually.
I guess on the surface it would be Jokic, but he doesn't give a crap. It doesn't bother him. He's extremely competitive. He wants to win. He just has all the desire you can imagine. But at the end of the day, he's going to go watch his horses race and go hang out in a swimming pool with his wife and his kid. And
legendary.
He's kind of fine both ways. It doesn't mean he doesn't want to win. It doesn't. It just means that he's a very balanced sort of individual. But he wants to win. To say that, you know, it doesn't kill him, it doesn't drive him, that almost implies that, like, he doesn't want it. But that's not true either. It's just a sort of a different way of going about things. And Jokic has always been very businesslike, and he has no letdown. He's had no letdown in the regular season and no letdown in the playoffs. So, Rachel, he is just literally doing exactly what he's always done and will always do. There hasn't been an off night for Jokic. Not yet, at least.
Is one coming?
No!
You're
Why
like
would it be?
making me a little nervous that something's going to change.
He got a haircut and a shave. He's good.
He'll show up in his suit tonight. It's going to be all business for sure. Your game pick for tonight, score, because the Lakers, like I said, they give their best punch in the first game.
Yeah,
usually.
They do.
But the Nuggets, they need 121 at home.
I don't think they quite get that. I think it's like 115, 107 Nuggets. Something along, and I think it's tight.
So I'm eating popcorn tonight, is what you're telling me.
I think you're definitely eating popcorn tonight.
Oh, no, I don't want to eat popcorn.
I think you are 100% eating popcorn tonight.
My wallet doesn't want me eating that $9 popcorn.
But I think in game two, things might get a little hairy there for the Lakers. I bet you they win game 3. I bet you the Nuggets figure out in game 4, and they wrap it up in game 5.
Ooh, okay.
But tonight could be as competitive, aside from maybe a loss in LA. Tonight could be really as competitive at home as it might be the entire series tonight.
Okay, well, we will find out. And of course, altitude always plays a little bit part when you come to the Mile High City. And we've got somebody who's going to play in altitude, but LeBron speaks on it right now.
You're tired a lot faster than you would if you wasn't in it.
Is it in the first quarter or is it throughout the game?
No, it's pretty much in the first quarter, a little bit in the second. The good thing about a playoff series, you're here for a few days, so it's just like when you go from East Coast to West Coast and the time difference. You know, Messi just sleep up for a couple of days, but then you get adjusted to it.
Kareem Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, how are you today?
Doing great. How are you?
Appreciate you hopping on, coming with us to the coffee bar real quick. 14 years in the NFL. Obviously, you played 4 here with the Broncos, so you've come to altitude before.
Yes.
How much does that actually impact your game?
It impacts it a lot, especially if you're not used to it. Obviously, we have an advantage, being able to practice in it and kind of get used to it. Training camp, OTAs and mini camps and things like that. I mean, it takes a while to get used to it, but for another team that comes in and just here for a day, playing in it, man, it sucks. It's suffocating. It's like you're getting choked out there. You get that cotton mouth, and it's definitely an advantage for us.
All right. Well, we'll get your game pick at the end of this, but I want you to walk us through the last couple of months because obviously you're not exactly sure if you're going to re-sign with the Broncos, and things just kind of worked out, and then the season wasn't. And we're going to get to that too. But walk us through the past couple of months for you.
Been kind of slow. I mean, for me, obviously, I understand the business side of it. The way things kind of go. I mean, we, kind of started talking with Denver a while back, and they told us, they wanted to get some things done first, and then we'll, kind of visit my situation. Had a deal on the table for roughly about a month. Just just took some time to kind of iron some things out. Some different logistics, and obviously getting to the point now where we can kind of agree on terms. So it's great to be able to come back here for my 5th year. I feel like we got a special team, got a great young group of talent. Obviously, adding Coach Sean Payton is definitely going to be huge, for us, and the guys and things like that. So, I mean, it's a lot of excitement, going into this year, and I think it should be.
There was a lot of excitement last year, and things obviously didn't work out, I'm sure, as you guys were hoping. And I feel like Broncos country too. Right. Where was the biggest disconnect that you saw?
I mean, for me, every year is different. I just think a lot of times, for us, we weren't able to play, complimentary football. Whether it's one game, the defense is playing out of their mind. Maybe we're not getting it done on the other side of the ball, or maybe special teams not clicking. I think we we didn't have a game where we put all three phases together, and obviously in this league that hurts you. You have to be clicking on all cylinders. So hopefully this year, we can get it together. All three phases, and play. Play together, play as one, and go out and play some sound football and win a lot of games this year.
How many conversations have you been able to have with Sean Payton recently?
I actually, the last conversation I had with him before I actually agreed on the deal was maybe about 2 weeks ago, weekend. I actually met him for lunch and was able to have a great conversation, and that kind of sealed things up for me.
What can Broncos country expect to change with Sean Payton coming in the door? Because, of course, we've heard all about the Saints days and everything,
right.
But what have you already seen in just your few conversations?
He definitely knows exactly what he wants to do, the direction. Having a coach like that that's, done it at every level and at a high level, obviously winning a Super Bowl in New Orleans and, that juggernaut offense that, he was able to run there with Drew Brees and all the other weapons that he had. Just the direction, his vision, is clear. Sitting down talking to him, he paints a picture for you and you're able to see it and you kind of get excited about it as a player. So, you definitely want to be a part of that. So I think, that's the first thing that kind of jumps out at you. He has a vision and the things that he want to do and the things that he wants to accomplish and to put in place, for us to be successful.
14 years in the NFL.
Yeah.
It's a long time. You've played in some playoff games, obviously haven't had as much success here in Denver. What's next for you, though? When you look at this season and you're still in great shape and you're still able to get out there and the Broncos still want you back, when you just look at this, can you believe this career that you've had and it being so long? Like, not a lot of people get that opportunity.
Right, definitely. Obviously, sitting back and thinking about it, it's definitely unbelievable. But at the same time, these are, the goals that I put in place for myself, as a young kid. It was always my goal to play in the NFL. Kind of coming in and getting drafted, my goal was to play 10 years. And once I got to 10, I say, let's take it to 15. So I've always kind of set, goals for myself and had these expectations, but to actually fulfill them and, go through the motions day in and day out and then be here now, it's definitely surreal. And, it's been a ride. It's been a blast. I've enjoyed it every step. I still enjoy it, each and every day. I enjoy the process. I enjoy the grind, the off-season grind, preparing for the games and going out and, just imposing my will and obviously being a piece of the puzzle to help the team win. So it's been a ride, and I've enjoyed it every second of it.
This team dealt with a lot of injuries last year for sure, but you played the most snaps out of anybody on this team last year. Is there a key for you to staying healthy? Obviously, I feel like some of it's a little bit luck, but it's also getting your body in shape for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's just a testament to my off-season training. I think my off-season preparation plays a huge part in that. And like you said, obviously, definitely a little bit of luck. But I think my off-season preparation and the things that I do once I get into season to kind of, take care of my body, make sure I'm able to go on a day-to-day basis and to get ready for games. All of those things kind of, gel together and kind of give me a toolbox of things that, I know I need to stay on top of and to do in order to be ready for that next day at practice. And that'll kind of, roll into, Sundays.
Walk us through an off season, because I feel like it's so interesting. We hear from so many players during the season. Obviously the media gets locker room access, the fans get locker room access through us, but we don't get to see you guys in the off season. What does that look like for you? How many times a day are you working out? How many times do you take it easy?
Right now, I mean, obviously, it's we got a long way until we get to actually playing games. So for now, just on a 1 day, only work out once a day. But so I go Monday, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, usually recovery. So I'll usually do like a cycling class, hot works or something like that.
Nice.
Then Thursday, Friday, work out, and then Saturday I'll use that as recovery, but I'll still get like a cycling class or just try to do like a core class or something like that, and then kind of fast forward until, once we kind of get closer to training camp, then I'll kind of go into like a two-a-day mode where I'll work out in the mornings and then I come back in the afternoon and I get another workout in, and I'll do that about 4 or 5 days a week. And just with that, just kind of mixing in recovery, massages, little things that I may need to work on or things like that. And then once I kind of go into my tour days, Saturdays is usually a track day. So those are usually probably the toughest day out of the week for me, just because obviously I don't run track, but it's just a ton of running. Just making sure your legs conditioned and hamstrings, quads, and everything, able to go. And obviously playing DB in this league, you have to be able to run a lot, and not tweak the hammies and have any of those soft tissues. So just trying to build that stability and that stamina when it comes to your muscles and on those Saturdays. So a lot goes into it, and obviously for me, the older you get, the harder you have to work. So I'm a guy that probably takes 2 to 3 weeks off after that last game, and then I'm right back in the gym.
Nice. Okay, and so on Saturdays you're running and then watching Alabama football, right?
Oh, definitely.
Nice.
Definitely.
Are you looking forward to this upcoming season when it comes to Bama?
Yeah, definitely looking forward to. I'm always looking forward to watching those guys. Just the talent those guys have had, ever since I left, and the talent that they put out from a year-to-year basis, the teams that they put together. It's been great to watch them and watch their success. So I'm looking forward to them getting back on the top of college football this year.
Let's talk about the draft real quick. LJ Skinner, 6th round. Have you had any opportunities to talk to him?
I haven't. I just met him yesterday for the first time.
Nice.
For me, I'm one of those guys that I feel obligated to help the younger guys. To give whatever knowledge that I have, to try to help them, because I was once that young guy and I had guys that helped me. So for me, whatever I can do to help them, whether it's on the field, off the field, dealing with family issues, whatever it is, those guys are gonna, they're gonna have to try to find their way. They're gonna have to, learn, the do's and the don'ts when it comes to this. I know they're gonna have a ton of people tugging at them, outside of, them trying to prepare and, stay healthy and, and play an NFL season. It's a lot, and it comes at you fast. So for me, I just try to be there and help those guys any way I can.
Is that something that's actually not talked a lot about? You say people tugging at them. I feel like it's a known thing, but no one really speaks on it from a player's perspective.
I don't think a lot of people talk about it, or they do. It just kind of flies under the radar. I know inside, in the building, it's talked about a lot. I know those younger guys have a lot of different classes and stuff that they're put through with player development that they try to help them and try to prepare for those things. But it's one thing to talk about it and somebody try to help you prepare for it, but to actually go through it is another thing, because you're in this situation and obviously people on the outside look at you as if you're making all this money. Some guys are, some guys aren't. And you're a younger guy and everybody has their hand out. Everybody has an agenda for you. And it's it can be overwhelming. So, I mean, a lot of guys need that help. So I think they do a good job here, with the Broncos. Ray Jackson does a great job with the younger guys, just trying to prepare them for and try to, teach them some type of life skills and helping them deal with situations like that.
That's a lot of a mental load, especially coming straight out of college.
It is. And, and obviously piling on, preparing for practice day in and day out, trying to learn a playbook, trying to make the team and things like that. It could be overwhelming.
Pat Surtain has been fabulous on the field, obviously, and so many people say great things about him off the field, too. What's the maturity? Don't give him too much credit, right? What's the maturity level of him like? Obviously, not being in the league that much or not very long.
I mean, you're talking about a guy that's going into year 3 that's been playing lights out, since he's been here. I mean, the lights haven't been too bright for him. Coming off a hell of a year last year. I'm looking forward to him to taking some more strides and being even better. I'm sure. It's just a lot of things that he, want to probably get better at himself. But he's a great talent. Like I say, generational talent. Obviously you can tell being around him. You can tell, the way he kind of grew up with his dad playing 12 year and being a Pro Bowl player as well. So you can tell he has that pedigree, and he's been groomed to be, an all pro corner his whole life.
When you get a contract extension, and I'm sure you're always excited, but you said it was on the table for a month, so you know it's coming eventually. Do you still go out to dinner or do something to celebrate it?
No, not anymore.
It's all just part of the game.
Yeah, this is contract number 6 or 7 or something like that. So now it's just you get a lot of the congratulatory texts, and you tell everybody thank you, and for me, it's all about still, preparing and getting ready for the season.
Are you a big golfer?
I used to be. Haven't played in a while. I got two little busybodies that keep me from getting out there like I used to. But I still got a small love for it. I just got to get back into it. So I'm sure it'll grow more. But once I retire, that'll be the first thing that I dive deep into.
I bring that up because, of course, you probably heard the story down at Arrowhead a few weeks ago of good old Russell Wilson and Justin Simmons and flipping the golf cart. So I wasn't sure if you were down there for that day of play.
I wasn't. I saw it and I meant to text Russ too. I know Russ has a driver and stuff like that. I was gonna say, man, you need your driver on the golf course too. But I'm glad those guys didn't
That walked away
themselves,
safe.
But yeah, I'm glad they didn't hurt themselves. But that's a prime example of just two guys that probably just don't need to hang with each other outside of the building, or they just got to get a driver.
Are they, they can be so serious sometimes. Like for the media especially, we see the very serious of them. Are they more jokesters than they let on to be?
100%. Justin's my right-hand man. I spend a lot of time with him outside of the building, so I'll actually be with him tonight for the game. So, but the seriousness, that's a facade. More jokes, not a lot of seriousness when I'm with him. So.
Okay, you have to let us in. Is there any funny stories that you can share about Justin? You guys spend a lot of time together, I feel like you got to have something.
9 times out of 10, it's probably me, because he's like a 60-40 guy when it comes to being serious to jokes. I'm like a 90-10 guy, all jokes and a little bit of seriousness. And more so than anything, he's always asking me, why you think everything funny? Because I'm always cracking jokes. Even right before kickoff, it don't matter where we are. Always jokes, always laughing, always fun with me.
It's a good way to go through life, though.
Yeah, I love it.
Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, no, when I say 90-10, that's being generous. Maybe 95-5 or something like that.
Okay, I love it. Well, of course, too, everybody in the comments is saying we're so happy to have you back, be part of the Broncos. There's always questions about Russell Wilson, and I'm sure you guys knew that coming in when he got traded. Is it an act? What is it? Is he that corny? Is that just his personality?
I mean, and obviously that's like the number one question. You go through interviews and you talk and, outside of the locker room and stuff. But, Russ's a great guy. What you see that's just who he is. You're talking about a guy that's strong in his faith, big-time family guy. He's a great teammate, a great locker room guy. That's just who he is. He's always positive. He carries himself, like he's, QB1. And, I've enjoyed sharing the locker room with him. I look forward to sharing the locker room with him this year. But that's just who he is. If you don't know Russell, you think it's an act, or you see it and you think it's, it may not truly be him, but, he's a genuine guy. That's just who he is, And once you kind of be around him, you spend time with him, you start to kind of understand that and you appreciate it, because he's not trying to be something or someone else that he isn't.
Who's funnier between you and him?
Yeah, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I probably have to say it. Yeah, I probably have to say me. Just because he's more of a 50-50 guy.
Okay.
When it comes to being serious and joking. But maybe he's a little bit more serious than joking, but I'm joking nonstop. In the middle of meetings, in practice, in the middle of the play, nonstop jokes.
Was that your entire career, or do you feel like just because you've been in the NFL for so long that it becomes comfortable?
I'll say once I kind of got comfortable and kind of learned my way. I wasn't like that my rookie year. I'll say going into maybe year 2, year 3, once I kind of got the hang of things and kind of learned and it started to kind of, shine through. But even when in college, I was always that guy. But, obviously getting drafted and, getting to the next level, you kind of have to lock in and, learn the ins and the outs and things like that. But once I kind of caught the swing of it, and I'm right back to all jokes and a little bit of seriousness.
You said you're going to the game tonight.
Have to.
I know
It's
you and
mandatory.
Justin have been before. I've seen you guys sitting courtside or, getting your picture taken. Who's your favorite Nugget?
My favorite Nugget. I'll have to say, probably Jamal Murray.
Okay.
Watched him a lot in college, so for him to be here and to obviously be in the same city to play, I've enjoyed his game. Like I said, since he was in college, and I love to watch him play now. So he's a prolific scorer, and I enjoy watching him play. I mean, I love Jokic too. I mean, everybody does, So, but yeah, I had to say Jamal Murray.
And who you taking tonight?
I'm gonna say this right now.
I'm ready.
For everybody's listening, I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry. I'm a diehard LeBron fan. That's my GOAT. I'm sorry. So
you're not actually going for the Nuggets tonight, then. You're going for LeBron.
I am.
Ooh, that's tough.
I am. I'm a huge LeBron fan. It's been like seasons where I traveled when he was with the Cavs, I traveled to watch LeBron play all over. Like, I'm a huge LeBron fan.
Okay, so you're not like a bandwagon. Granted,
No.
I don't even know if there are bandwagon LeBron fans anymore because he's been great for so long.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge LeBron fan. I obviously followed him in his high school. He's a little bit older than me, so I feel like we kind of grew up, obviously in the same era. So, watching him, ever since, high school and getting drafted, I followed his entire career. So I'm a huge LeBron fan. So I'll have to say that I'm gonna be riding with the Lakers.
Okay,
I
so
still like the Nuggets too. I'm looking forward to a great series.
that was gonna be my next one.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to a great series. I think it's gonna be a great series. I think both teams. I actually think the Denver team is a little bit better. Their bench. I think they're a little bit deeper on the bench. I think they have better scorers off the bench. But I'm looking forward to a great series. I feel like Jokic, obviously, he's going to do what he does. Jamal Murray, too. I think Vanderbilt will make it a little bit harder for Jamal Murray just because he's a little bit more wiry and has a little bit more height. So he'll make it harder for him. But I still expect him to score some buckets, and they'll try to throw Tristan Thompson at Jokic a little bit and just to try to make him tired. He's not gonna stop him. I mean, he's still gonna be able to do whatever he wants. But talking about a 7-game series, I think they'll throw a couple different bodies at him just to try to slow him down. But I mean, we'll see.
One way or another, I feel like it works out for you. Either the city you're living in, their team advances, or your favorite player.
I'll be happy either way. I'll be at the parade and all if the Nuggets win.
Perfect.
If the Lakers win, I'm going to be at their parade too.
Catch Kareem in LA. Kareem, thank you so much, though. I really appreciate you taking some time, and congratulations on your contract extension.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
We're excited to see what this season holds for sure.
I'm excited too.
And of course, we're excited for tonight, and thanks to the Denver Nuggets, we've got a hype video you guys are going to love.
Some dusty old cow town in the Rocky Mountains, the little respect that we get. And you can sit there and fight it and complain about it, or you can just embrace who we are and what we have. And I'd rather not waste time on all the pundits who count us out or don't give us the respect that we deserve as a team and everything that we've done. But there's one thing we haven't done. And until we win a championship, people are going to keep saying that about us. So that's what drives us home, is winning a championship. Getting to the Western Conference Finals doesn't do it. Getting to the finals doesn't do it. It's winning a championship. And that's something that we can all savor and enjoy and embrace and have that forever. That's something no one can ever take from you. And that's what is our motivation on a day-to-day basis.
We already know that monster in the Rocky Mountains.
You're a team that you better come with something really special to beat this team to. This team is they're so fun to watch. There's an edge to them.
If people don't appreciate it, if they don't buy this team, well, you're running out of time.
It's amazing to be part of this journey, around these guys, and like I said, I think we have something we can do something nice.
Oh my goodness. We have to be getting excited for tonight for sure. I can't believe Kareem said he's going to go with the Lakers. It surprised me a little bit, considering I know how many Nuggets games he's gone to. But you also you got to respect it that he was going to say, I got to go with my favorite player for sure. So a lot of respect there. I saw all of your guys' comments, and of course, I love to see it. I'm really curious, though, how you guys are all feeling when it comes to just tonight and what you're expecting. Because, again, I was expecting the Suns series to be the hardest. I know Jake would make fun of me if he was on right now and say, Rachel, I could have told you that the Nuggets series wasn't going to be the hardest. But I'm curious how you guys are all feeling again. And I know you guys are super excited. I see Giovanni's comment, can't wait. Really hope Nuggets Nation shows up and do not go after the money and to sell to the Lakers fans. I'm with you. I'm actually going to be very surprised. Every single time I've gone to Ball Arena and there has been a Lakers game or a Warriors game, I feel like I'm seeing constant Lakers or Lakers or Warriors fans, excuse me. And so I'm going to be curious if people actually do it. And I know D-Mac and I talked a little bit about it yesterday of how you buy the season tickets so that you can go to the playoffs for these games right here. These are the big games. These are the games you're not selling. But of course, people still do it all the time. So I'm going to be very curious. I hope it's going to be complete Nuggets fan. I hope it's going to be so loud. I'm hoping I don't have to buy any $9 popcorn, everybody. But if I have to, you know I absolutely will. Clint, Denver hasn't lost at home. Lakers haven't lost game one. Jake Shapiro, good morning, my friend.
I know I'm not even talking because I could do this in sign language. 4. It's going to take 4 games, Rachel.
Are you really going in 4?
Yeah. I mean, I could see the whistles going one way and Anthony Davis and LeBron taking over one game and making this go 5. But the Nuggets are a far better team than the Lakers. Like this shouldn't be a series.
Jake, what's been the difference from the Nuggets' slow start? I mean, you follow basketball so closely. What was the difference between their slow start, the Lakers, to the opportunity to get to the Western Conference Finals?
Well, the slow start, one, you have to keep in mind they had a rookie head coach. Darvin Ham's a rookie head coach, and they had a really rough roster at the start of the season. So their roster was one that struggled at times. Their big adjustment they made after that 2-10 start was moving Russell Westbrook off the bench. And then at the deadline, they moved Russell Westbrook off their roster for other teams. For other guys, D'Angelo Russell, Jared Vanderbilt, Malik Beasley. Tim Conley completely bailed this team out with a different roster, essentially. And they've been cycling through guys all year, even before the trade deadline. So they finally found something at the trade deadline. They're a completely different team now than they were then. So they've been dealing with a lot this year. Honestly, Anthony Davis, LeBron James said this yesterday, and he's kind of right. It's always been about health for those two when they've been in LA together. LeBron's playing on one leg still. LeBron made it to the Western Conference Final at age 38 on one leg. It's incredible.
Oh, looks like
I'm here.
Oh, it sounded like you cut off for a quick second.
No.
I think I might have lost your last word, so that's why I was like confused. And I was like, "Are you frozen on me, Jake?" Are you? Well, you're obviously not nervous. I'm a little nervous. Are you anticipating it to just be a blowout, or do you think it's just going to be a close game that they're going to be able to get it done because they are the better teams?
This one I'm expecting to be a pretty easy game for the Nuggets. I think all the game ones have been pretty easy for the Nuggets. Timberwolves game, Suns game 1 have been pretty easy. I'm expecting more in game 2 from the Lakers than than game 1.
Jake, I wish I had your confidence, my friend, because I just don't. I don't know. And maybe it's because it's the whole they haven't been there. They don't know what it takes. But I think they're going to get the W tonight. But I don't think it's just going to be a walk in the park.
If the Nuggets were playing a better team, sure, I'd be with you. I'd be like, this is Western Conference Finals. It's time to get nervous, whatever. This Lakers team is not very good. Like, what have they proven to tell you that they're good? They beat a Memphis team that is injured all around. Ja Morant didn't play half that series, their star. The Warriors team, I've been telling you all year, was falling apart at the seams, and you're seeing some of the after effects now that the season is over. The Lakers walked through that series. Didn't walk through that series. That series was a battle for them. They were a 7th-seeded team that needed to beat the Timberwolves at home on some craziness to just get into the playoffs and the play-in game. So I don't think the Lakers are very good. Like, they were a 7 seed for a reason. So that's why I'm confident about where the Nuggets are going into tonight. Also, generally speaking, looking at the past performances of Nuggets history, in Nikola Jokic. It takes a game or two to adjust to the very unique playing style of Nikola Jokic. So the Nuggets, even though the Lakers are going to know every single thing that the Nuggets are running, are still going to be more proficient at it. Game 2, Game 3, you're going to see better adjustments from the Lakers. And then eventually Nikola Jokic is going to win the war, Game 4, Game 5, Game 6. That's kind of how he plays throughout the course of a series. So Game 1, it's very hard to defend the Nuggets. The thing is, the has made the Lakers so good, at least here recently, is the fact that Anthony Davis has played this backstop roaming center fielder defender type on the baseline. Anthony Davis is likely going to have to guard Nikola Jokic in this series, which is going to take him away from that position. They can put Jared Vanderbilt on Nikola Jokic, but Nikola is going to just bury him in the post. They can put Tristan Thompson on Nikola, but Tristan Thompson is not able to shoot, so he can't space on offense. So there's all sorts of problems presented by Nikola Jokic, and ultimately it leads to DeAndre Ayton being put into actions where he is going to be completely uncomfortable guarding Nikola Jokic, because Nikola Jokic plays like a point guard on offense, even down to like the Nuggets run a play that they stole from Allen Iverson in 2003. Like I'm serious. Like the things that Anthony Davis is going to have to do in this series are just going to be completely uncomfortable. And it's different than 3 years ago. Nikola Jokic is a far better player, and the team around Nikola is a lot more proficient.
Is it bad that when I just think of Tristan Thompson, I think of the Kardashian curse?
Yeah. I mean, it's funny. The entire Sun series, Rachel, I was trying to save the Chris Paul, Kanye West, Kim Kardashian tweet. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to hold back on that one. Felt a little personal.
Right. For you, who's the X factor for the Nuggets this series? Because I'm trying to think of who you picked for the Suns.
Suns, it was like from a in the weeds standpoint, it was Aaron Gordon. I'm gonna go same thing. If Aaron Gordon can defend LeBron James at times and Anthony Davis at times, if he is going to shoot 40%, 38% from three instead of 30 to 33%, the Nuggets are going to breeze past. It's all going to be about Aaron Gordon hitting a couple shots. You saw it in the T-Wolf series. They tried to put Rudy on Aaron with Rudy sagging off to help on Nikola. I think the Lakers are going to try that game 1 with Anthony Davis on Aaron Gordon sagging off, and then Jared Vanderbilt on Nikola Jokic. The easy X factor is obviously Jamal Murray, because he has such a matchup advantage in this series. But I think it's going to be more about the defensive side of the ball for the Nuggets, because the offense will be there. It's just a question of who besides Nikola it will come from. It might come from Mike. It might come from Jamal. It might come from KCP. But it is interesting. If you're going to put Aaron on Anthony Davis, that means KCP is likely on LeBron. Obviously, a huge size disadvantage for the Nuggets there. But across the board, the Nuggets have so much more size and strength than the Lakers. Like, it's not even close. And people go back to that bubble series. The thing that made the Lakers good was the fact that Dwight Howard and JaVale McGee were coming off the bench next to Anthony Davis, and they could just throw size at Nikola Jokic. The biggest player on the Lakers roster besides Anthony Davis is Mo Bamba, 7-footer. He's doubtful for tonight's game with an ankle injury. Probably not going to play. The next biggest guy after Anthony Davis is Tristan Thompson. He's 6'9". He's 3 inches smaller than Nikola Jokic. So they just don't have the size to match up with the Nuggets. And frankly, they don't have the level of skill and players around their stars that the Nuggets do as well. I mean, they do have a deeper bench in some senses, but it's not as reliable.
You know what? I had honestly just kind of assumed that AG would be on LeBron, and that's probably actually very wrong of me to just assume that, but that was just the matchup that I could see happening in my head. So it will be interesting if it'll be AD, LeBron, and if KCP does have to, because we actually haven't talked a lot about KCP, and I feel like he's the guy that's been there, done that. And so it's interesting that that conversation hasn't come up a bunch, but again, that's also because look at how many talented players there are on this Nuggets squad.
Yeah, KCP was the main talking point yesterday at Nuggets and Lakers practices from both sides, because everyone knows how good he is. He is the 5th best player on the Nuggets. And by the way, he was probably the 3rd or 4th best player on the Lakers title-winning team a couple of years ago. So, yeah, having him as your 5th option is pretty crazy. To your point about the way the Nuggets could defend LeBron and Anthony Davis, in that scenario, Nikola Jokic would be on Jared Vanderbilt. And that's when Jared Vanderbilt's in the game. We know Jared Vanderbilt, former Nugget first round pick. I thought he was going to be awesome. Ended up being awesome a couple years too late for the Nuggets, unfortunately. But he doesn't have a 3-point shot still. He just doesn't. So he could be sagged off by Nikola Jokic. But if they go smaller and you're going to see Reeves out there with D'Angelo Russell and Schroeder. So basically 3 guards and then LeBron and Davis at the 4 and 5. Then you're going to see the Nuggets forced into putting Jokic on Davis, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because the smaller the Lakers get, I think it's more of an advantage for the Nuggets because they will still have the size, and the Lakers need to go small to have shooting. The Nuggets don't need to go small to still have shooting. So the Nuggets are just so versatile. They can beat you in so many ways. We still haven't even mentioned Bruce Brown, which he's better. He's probably, if Bruce Brown is on the Lakers, I think he'd be their 3rd best player. Like, realistically, like who's their 3rd best player? I mean, I'm sick of this Austin Reeves thing. Maybe he's going to prove me wrong, but he's a good role player. He's a good role player. I'm seeing Lakers fans out here telling me he's better than KCP. Like, you remember what KCP was for you a couple of years ago. Are you kidding me? Austin Reeves isn't an on-ball defender. He can shoot the 3, dunks nice, but like, the Lakers need to get out in transition. They need to get foul calls. They need a lot of things to go right for them. And realistically, over the course of a 7-game series, enough of those things aren't going to go right for them unless this series is rigged.
Okay, well, we're going to see. Some of the comments some of the fans commenting are saying, Jake, have you been watching this? So I hope we can all walk away tonight with the confidence that you have in the Nuggets. Jake, thank you so
I've been
much.
watching
Also,
it more than anybody.
Wait, what?
I've been watching it more than anybody. Like, that's the thing, Rach. I've watched I think I've watched like 50 Laker games this year. I've watched every Nuggets game. Like, I've watched it more than anyone. I watch every single night League Pass. I've watched every single playoff game. Like, if you guys don't think that the Lakers are criminally broken, like just broken across the board in ways that don't make sense. Like, why are they even, like, this is such a weak conference finals. Like, the Heat were bad. The Lakers were bad. Boston and Denver are the 1 seeds. Like, this is broken perfectly across the board for the Nuggets. And if they run into the Heat in the finals, like, it's literally God just opening the path for Moses. Like, that's where we're at right now with the Nuggets.
True. We got Jake knows. Jake is the man. So, okay. Like I said, I hope we will all walk away with the confidence that you have after tonight. Of course, Jake and I will be at the game. You have to make sure you tune into the vlog tomorrow. And of course, we're going to break it all down here on Coffee Break, 10:30 a.m. for another episode. Huge shout out to Kareem Jackson for hanging out with us and to DMAC too. And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a wonderful Tuesday, everybody. We'll see you later. Bye.